Okay, so I'm finally back to do a review for Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Not much more to add, so let's just get into it. Honestly, I'm just trying to get this out before Spider-Man and get my thoughts on this movie. I took a relatively long break due to having to focus on uni, but now I'm back and I got a shit ton of movies and shows to review. But I'm starting with Venom because, number one, it ties in Spider-Man No Way Home, and now I can put Spider-Man in the thumbnail. No one in the comments better complain about spoilers, by the way, okay? Like, if you haven't seen the post-credit scene from this movie, yet you somehow stumbled upon this video, that's your mistake. And number two, I don't have a ton to say about this movie, so it should be a pretty short review. Okay, so I kinda liked the first Venom movie. It's not great by any means, but I like it mostly because it's just got Tom Hardy going crazy and doing crazy person shit as everyone else watches in horror. It's wonderful. The movie is still bogged down by a painfully cliche story and an underwhelming villain, but all in all, it's not a masterpiece, but it's kind of fun. So does Venom Let There Be Carnage improve on the first movie, or does it Amazing Spider-Man 2 it? By which I mean, make everything worse. Well, I'm pleased to report that Venom Let There Be Carnage is a pretty big step up from the first film. Again, it's definitely no masterpiece, but I found this to be a lot more fun and self-aware than the first film. This movie is incredibly silly. It felt like an action movie from the late 90s, early 2000s. It reminded me a lot of the movie Face Off. It's not as good as Face Off, but like that movie, it's very self-aware without having the need to make fun of itself and have characters constantly make quips and go, that just happened. Like most MCU movies do. Honestly, the writing in this isn't even worse than the writing for Shang-Chi, but I think audiences have an easier time forgiving it in that movie because it actively pokes fun of itself. And there's nothing wrong with a movie poking fun of itself, but it's getting a bit old now for the MCU. It's like their get out of jail free card. Like Shang-Chi and most MCU movies, this movie has some dumb shit, but it doesn't try to excuse it by winking at the audience. You either accept it or you don't. Like, why does Shriek have super screaming powers? Doesn't matter. Why does Cletus get Carnage from eating some of Venom's slime? That doesn't make any sense. Who cares? This movie knows exactly what it is, and it isn't trying to be anything else. It's just a goofy, kinda gay sci-fi action movie, and I respect it for that. The best thing this movie has going for it, though, is Tom Hardy. He's just really fun to watch as both Eddie Brock and Venom. Just doing his stupid voices and arguing with himself, it's delightful. You never get a scene where Tom goes absolutely crazy though, like nothing in this movie compares to that lobster tank scene in the first film, but oh well. The villains are okay. Again, comparing this movie to Face Off, Woody Harrelson is not nearly as entertaining as Nicolas Cage. He is a bit campy and over the top in parts, but he needed to go further with it for it to be a really memorable performance, which I feel this should have been. However, I think he worked best in his scenes with Naomi Harris. They're really entertaining together, and this is honestly what the Joker-Harley Quinn relationship should have been. I mean, really, this is so much better than what we got. And also, I absolutely love Cletus's backstory and how it was animated. I always love when live-action movies just have an animated sequence, and this is no exception. It's just a really creative way of delivering exposition. Oh yeah, and this is your yearly reminder to go watch Krampus, by the way. One of the more disappointing things about Carnage is that he never really feels like a serious threat, and a big part of that is that this movie is PG-13. I don't even think you see Carnage kill someone on screen. I think one of the producers said a while back that after the success of Joker, they were considering making this movie rated R, which makes me think an R-rated version of this movie does exist, but we'll probably never see it. I mean, who knows, we're getting an R-rated cut of Krampus this year, so maybe it'll come out eventually. Also, yet another reminder to go watch Krampus. It's so good. It's like the best Christmas movie ever, maybe. Anyway. I was a bit worried that the fights between Venom and Carnage were just going to be borderline incomprehensible like they were in the first Venom movie, but, I mean, first of all, they only fight once at the end, And second, it's definitely better than the first movie, but still not that great. Nothing too memorable. The only thing I vividly remember about the action scenes is the church bell falling on Shriek. That was really funny and goofy. I think it needed more of those cartoony moments. The other returning characters from the first film serve their purposes, I guess. I don't know. I mean, there's not much to say about them. The scene where Michelle Williams was trying to seduce Venom was just so stupid that I kind of loved it. I will say, this movie is genuinely more romantic than any other superhero movies this year. There are a lot of gay undertones with Eddie and Venom's relationship that are definitely intentional. And you know, I'm all for it. And the detective character was fine, I guess. Like, he didn't really do anything. I guess he's going to become Toxin in Venom 3, but, like, I don't really want to see Venom fight another symbiote monster guy again. Like, they've already done it twice. Just have him fight Spider-Man. Or even some other Spider-Man villain. Like, what if you fought this universe's version of Doc Ock or the Green Goblin? That would be cool. But no, Sony won't do that because Venom has to be its own universe, where there are only goo monsters and Jared Leto is a vampire or whatever. Also, while I'm discussing Sony's universe of Marvel characters, I think that's what it's called, Morbius looks like it's gonna flop. Like, it just looks really bad, and Jared Leto is a creep, allegedly, so I don't really want to go pay and see it. And also, no one knows Morbius. People know Venom, but no one knows... I don't know what Sony are doing. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, so let's talk about what I didn't like about this movie. Because it's definitely not without its flaws. So first off, I don't actually know if this is something I liked or didn't like, but the jokes in this movie were so bad that they came back around to being funny. All the jokes were delivered in the strangest, most campy ways that I just couldn't help but laugh.
Death to you, Father. No! Not you, Father. You, Father.
And I genuinely don't know how much of that was intentional. I already mentioned it, but some of the characters don't get a lot to do, and because this movie is only 97 minutes, the first half of the film goes by way too fast. I appreciate that this movie isn't 2.5 hours long like every other superhero movie, but still, it needs to slow down sometimes, give scenes some room to breathe. Please. Overall, Venom Let There Be Carnage was definitely no masterpiece, but it was fun. This movie knows exactly what it is, and for what it was, I enjoyed it. I'm giving it, I admit, a very generous 7 out of 10. Anyway, that's what I thought about Venom Let There Be Carnage. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter @CinemaGeekYT, leave a like, and subscribe for more videos like this one.